Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 416. Our first one on game day. Always get a good football game day video in here. We'll see in the follow up whether or not we're happy or sad at the result of our fantasy footballs and our Kansas City Chiefs. So, nonetheless, let's jump in here. These are all older champions, and so we'll just do the thing where we draft the one we have least recently drafted. I have a pretty good feeling that will be Zoe. We don't see her turn up too often, and so let's just swing over to the site real quick and double check. And so we'll be over here at ftpbus.com. That's where I keep all of my expedition related content. We're just going to go up here in the little search thing and take a look for these champions here real quick. I know Nautilus has been pretty recent at 367. Zoe, again, yeah, it's been ages. Been actual ages since we've drafted Zoe. As a build around, I should say, 260. There's no way Anivia is more recent than that. I know we've drafted the cloning program style decks a few times with Anivia since the changes happened in like 212 or 211 or something along those lines. But okay, so we're going to be taking a look at this awesome Augments Zoe. She pairs up with Victor. Kind of the idea with this card pool is you have Zoe out here generating cards, so she'll generate a star chart, and the star chart generates more cards, and then all those generated cards work quite well with augments, and so we'll see what comes out of that. This is a pretty big kind of start as far as invokes go. And so maybe we'll go down that path. We'll just have to see. And so let's just swing over here to the main page or the expedition helper. We'll make our way down to this little drop down box and take a peek at the Zoe cards. And so, yeah, again, this is one of these like really gigantic card pools. I feel like kind of the goal with Zoe as time progresses is going to take advantage of these like little invokes, right? There's all these cards that invoke something that costs 3 or less. And so it kind of seems like that's the way she was going, but the cards haven't like really panned out as far as that being a theme. And so what you're going to see in this card pool is we kind of talked about using Zoe in terms of flipping or taking advantage of Augments and Victor. The majority of this card pool is intent on getting our Zoe to flip. And so you'll have dudes like Gift Giver that is 1 play, the gem would be 2, Lunari Dustbringer's play number 1, the Dust Petal Dust would be play number 2, and you have all these card generators as the means to play your 10 different cards for Zoe. In general, that's not something I'm really super interested in pursuing. But if we want to do this like really turbocharged Zoe level up, I really like pairing her off with Bilgewater. They're not necessarily just with Nami. If you're playing a lot of Constructed these days, I'm sure you've run into the Bilgewater Zoe Nami decks, but what I speak to in Expedition and much more easily to obtain is using cards like Pull Shark, using the Fortune Croaker, the 2/3 for 2 that draws a card, and then you have access to like the Plunders, and so Zoe is a good Plunder activator, and then the Plunders are probably drawing cards that don't exist in your deck if you get to use Black Market Merchant or Pilfered Goods, and so she's pretty good in that sense, but we'll have to wait and see what turns up with Zoe and what we can piece together here. Okay, so that did not make an appearance. We did not see any of the Bilgewater champions, and so how do we want to go about this? There's a few different options. I'm not real intent on pairing her off with Maokai. I just don't think this Targon Bilgewater or Targon Shadow Isles pairing is that good. There's just not enough synergies between the two to really take advantage of anything, and so. Otherwise, these cards aren't that exciting. I don't like Targon Noxus either. There's just no combos, so that pushes us back to this Teemo. And we can maybe pull some of this off. Maybe we'll find some of the augment cards. With the Shroom and Boom Teemo, I kind of feel like this would swing its way back to being like a Puffcap Peddler style deck, but I'm really looking at things here like iterative improvement and being able to copy like an Invoke for some additional advantage. I mean, we could even try and copy Starry Scamps if we want, just to try and really ramp these cheap dudes out. But nonetheless, I think this is going to be our best bet with Teemo. Maybe we'll see something turn up as far as Bilgewater goes, but as it stands here, I think we're just going to have to be trying to play like a kind of a value generation kind of deck where we're trying to make copies of invokes. So Let's pull up this Teemo here real quick as well. As you can imagine, this one is meant to be a build around towards the Puffcaps, and that might be where we just end up anyways. But as far as these Teemo decks go, the way I recommend drafting Teemo these days is you don't want any cards in your deck that cost more than 3 mana, unless it is a high-powered Epic, or if it's a Chump Wump. And then from that point forward, we're just trying to spend all of our mana every turn of the game, be as aggressive as possible, try to get our opponent down to 10, and then once they're around 10 or so, we're probably going to be falling behind on board, and we switch full on to the Puffcap Peddler mode. That's the kind of standard game plan with Teemo. There are some cards here that could work out reasonably well, like Assembly Bot can work reasonably with Zoe. But I think this is probably along the lines where we'll go. I would not be surprised to see us just kind of pivot over into a Puffcap stack. But let's see. Welcome to the squad, Teemo. And then what do we have here? So I'm not opposed to come out here and drafting Bilgewater cards, but a lot of these cards here aren't that great. Each round, the first time you recall, we're not going to be doing the total recall stuff. Interesting to see the Tailcloak Matriarch here in total recall. This is the Karma card pool. They didn't update the spreadsheet for the existing archetypes when the new cards were released, and so it's kind of a surprise to see some of these cards show up. I'm not surprised to see the only Ionia card in the new set that does recall stuff be pushed into total recall Karma, but it would be nice to see where all those things have landed. Otherwise here, I'm not taking the pack with Mushroom Cloud in it. This card's complete garbage, and we have good options otherwise. We'll take this Gifts from Beyond along with the Chump Wump. It still helps us lean towards either theme, the Chump Wump being 2 cards in 1, as far as leveling up a Zoe is concerned, and same with Gifts from Beyond. Okay, so again, don't want to jump into Noxus, just not going to be enough synergies between the 2 card pools. This Augmented Assault is meant to kind of do the same thing with Zoe, where we're trying to get 2 cards out of 1, but you're getting them out of the Reforge mechanic. We just don't need to dive into that. So option number 2 over here, we don't want Mushroom Clouds, and that just leaves us with the Drop Border and Time Trick. Not particularly strong cards, but they do have a bit of synergy in the sense that they're cheap. Okay, so I feel like this one's going to really kind of be like the defining pick of the draft as to whether or not we pick up this Iterative Improvement with Starry Scamp, or if we take the 2 Puffcap cards, and I'm going to go with the Puffcap cards. I think I'm still, like, depending on what turns up, I never feel like I'm really required to draft a bunch of Teemos, and so if we just end up with a handful of Puffcap Peddlers, I'm really not opposed to just still drafting Zoe, but this pick here at least gives us some direction with these 2 Puffcap generators, whereas this the Starry Scamp pack, we don't really have the Celestials to take advantage of the Scamp, and the Iterative Improvement is good, but it just doesn't really give us any direction. Okay, so yeah, we're on board here. Let's just go ahead and pick up the clump of Wumps along with the Aftershock, and we're going to just consider ourselves to be a Puffcap deck from this point forward. Okay, well, these cards are horrible. I think this is okay, though, with the Star Chart and the Mechanized Mimic. We should be able to take advantage of the Mimic here. Shouldn't be too tough to give this Elusive. It could be a decent game ender for us. Also, the Augment is pretty big, right? Is all the generated cards that we're making. I think that should be okay. But showing us counterfeit copies, nobody wants that. So, okay, we can't take the Allegiance Mountain Scryer. We don't have enough Targon. Really don't want to take the counterfeit copies, so I'm going to come over here and just take the Patrol Warden's Gotcha, just a bunch of filler. Okay, and then here, Trail of Evidence, horrible card, don't like it. Kyrie and Sumpworker is extremely good, but we aren't built around this, and so we're going to just have to take the Stinky Wump along with the Snupscythe Scavenger. At least we are pretty heavily allegianced here, should be able to get the Scavenger going. Okay, interesting set. And so I didn't really plan on picking too much Augment stuff, so I didn't stop and talk about the Ballistic Bots. With the Ballistic Bots, if you're really looking to build around Augment, you have to have a way to give them Overwhelm or Elusive. We have the one way to give them Elusive with our Scavenger, so this could be okay. It's not like we're building around it anyways, and then I'm always okay to have Spring Guardians, just a very high quality 3/3 for 3 with upside. But as far as these other cards go, let's take a peek real quick. I was leaning towards taking this Crescent Guardian with Pale Cascade, just kind of the best combat-centric set of cards that we have, and I don't think we ever take the Gotcha Patrol Wardens. So our spell count looks kind of okay. I think we could, I mean, it's like you can get like one attack with the Crescent Guardian in a deck like this. I think we'll just stick to the Ballistic Bot. It's a little bit more on theme here. Okay, then immediately get paid off. This is quite a good set here with the Scavenger Puffcap Peddler. I was kind of planning on just drafting a bunch of Zoes as the draft went on, but I don't think we can do that now that we've picked up 2 Snipe Scavengers. We really have to look at ourselves as being an Allegiance deck. Okay, well here we go. We got the double Puffcap pick down here to the right. Things are starting to come together. What else can we do here? These packs are kind of turdy. The Urchin's always fine in these decks. You can come out and just discard a Puffcap to this as kind of a bonus card draw. I think that is what we're looking for. And our last one, Chip. I don't think we have any landmarks in our deck for you today. And so these cards are all pretty horrible. I'm just going to go with the Bilgewater set here. I really don't like Death Rays or Trail of Evidences, but with the 2 Snipe Scavengers, I really want to keep our allegiance down, and the gifts from Beyond Paddlestar aren't very good. Okay, so what else can we do here? I'm happy enough to trade out drop borders. We only have the 1 Predict card in our deck. We have the Singular Time Trick, so the Patrol Wardens are a reasonable upgrade. Okay, as you all know, we do have to go and turn something premium. Let's take a peek at what lives out here. I think we can upgrade the Stinky Wump, be right on theme with what's happening here today. So we got Piltover. What was the other one? We got Targon. We're on the commons. Did we already do it? Is he already leveled up? Good for you, my man. Where's he at? Oh, why isn't he showing up in here? Is he a Bilgewater or a Vandal City card? Is that what it is? I know we drafted at least one. Huh. Where's this guy even at? Go unowned. What? What have I done wrong? Let me just get out of here. Let me try it this way. Unowned. See, there he is. Oh, it's a rare. Oh, that's what the problem is. I see. Okay, maybe there's a common out here before we have to spend all that money on the rare. Let's see. Units, commons, not owned. Do we have any of these? We certainly don't. As far as spells go, not. I don't think we've drafted any of this so far. We didn't see any Sump Fumes, so okay. All right. If we're having to go into the rares, then I think the Stinky Wump is the way to go here. Right, alright. Where'd you go? Premium. Boom. Alrighty, let's get to it. So yeah, it didn't come together kind of exactly how I envisioned. I was hoping to get the draft more towards Zoe, but it's very tough to actually get a Zoe-centric deck together unless you're drafting Bilgewater. Just the themes to take advantage of the celestial stuff don't exist. You know, we see cards like Starbone get printed, which points towards that being kind of a theme. The Starbone's the one that boosts all of your celestials as long as you have the dog. And you know, kind of the easiest way to get the dog is through these various invoke three cost or less. But that's really the only kind of like build around theme we're seeing for it. And so I kind of suspected that they would kind of branch invokes into being like small invokes versus big invokes, but I just don't think they've quite had the time to really flesh that out. Okay, well, not a bad start with the 2 clumps. Let's try and manage our curve a bit and look for some other cheap stuff. Right. Day late and a dollar short, Stinky Wump. We turned you premium so you'd be here at our opening hand. you just didn't do it. Messed up. Forgot the LLR Guardian. Here we go. Is this dude even here? We're just playing with ourselves right now. No. All right. That should do it. Thought it should do it. Did I miss the button? It's doing stuff, I think. There we go. Right, not a bad little set of aggression. I didn't get to put together the Starry Scamp iterative improvement deck. We'll have to try and do that one another day. I think that would have been like okay. That would have been kind of the big way to come out here and build around Zoe, but I really doubt that that's a good enough archetype in the current format. Okay, and just okay, definitely trade. Don't think this is a deck that's going to be like super taking advantage of these Cursed Keepers, right? When he's out here playing Karma and Nivea with a Shadow Isles on the back end, I don't suspect we're going to see a lot of like Blighted Caretaker cards coming out of here. But I mean, if you're building towards Karma, then you have to be doing a bunch of Shadow Isle stuff. Not so much the case with the Nivea, but wouldn't be surprised to see kind of like a lot of control decky cards coming out of the Shadow Isles side. We want to just start slamming stuff? I mean, we can do like this. We can play another clump. We can iterative improvement our Stinky, and then just slam in with the 5 units. Just try to get a big damage hit in if they play like a 4-drop here. I dig it. Because his Abomination's gonna have to trade with something, and then the like just the one card that he has left, we can try and like say coup de grace something away. So I might just play the Scamp here, though. It feels a little slow to be just like copying one of these dudes and then just having to immediately trade it into the Abomination. Okay. Ooh. Wow. No blocks. Very surprising. So we're probably just, we have to like coup de grace this life plate away. Can't have him out here gaining life. But now we're in kind of, a similar spot. If they, say, play a 5-drop, we get to open in and hopefully hit for 6. Then with them at 2, we can maybe kill with Aftershock, or these Mushroom Clouds are looking like potential game enders if they're that extremely low in health. Don't think I'm quite ready to just spew off the Mushroom Cloud, so... Okay. Lots of damage. So the 8 hit will take him to 3, potentially kill with an Aftershock if they don't have another heal. Spend all that mana on something that doesn't matter. It's our favorite play in the game. That's pretty much it. Boom. Okay, good stuff. What do we got here with this Teemo? It's not that bad. The Experimenter, it's kind of like on the edge of the epics that I'm really excited to have. I'm not really opposed to it, but it's not spectacular. And then the Veteran Investigator is fantastic in this style of deck. So as far as what we'll be looking to do here the rest of the way, I'm like happy with our top end of the Scavengers and the Mimic. These elusives tend to be able to just get in and close out games, so they're fine. Like the problem I have with these expensive units in a deck like this is, say we play like a Plaza Guardian, it's just so easy for our opponent to have units on board that they just never deal any damage. And so I don't like units like that, but these ones that have Elusive or the ones that have Overwhelm, all okay. And so we'll be looking to say like trade out Moondreamers, and then the top end is kind of reasonable. Otherwise, I would like to pick up 2 Puffcap Peddlers. We are a little bit light on these. I don't feel like Teemo is ever a requirement in a Puffcap deck, but the Puffcap Peddler is. And so we need to pick up some of these. And then otherwise, I just want to trade out some of these just kind of off-theme filler cards for things that are a little bit more on theme. Like I don't want Trail of Evidence. I don't really want Star Charts. I want to swap these out for things that are either helping us be ultra aggressive, helping us do things with the Puffcaps, or burn spells. So, but we have a pretty good base for everything we're trying to pull off here. Oof. Yeah, see, we got our Sunday Fun Day shirt on here. We are prepared for Fantasy Football Day. We took a stinker tinker. We're making our videos, and we get to hopefully watch 3 games today. I'll get vetoed on watching 3 games today, but one can dream. Let's see. I like starting like this, where we keep the 1 and the 2, and then we just search for more of our 1 and 2 drops. Fantastic. This LeBlanc and Vi. See, that's the stuff right there. That's a curve if I've ever seen one. The premium Stinky Wump knows what's up. He said, "I got you, fam. You did turn me premium, and I did you wrong in the last one. So let's just go ahead and get these upgraded ones in your hand." Okay, and then if they have no play, I'm going to start playing units here. And so it's just so easy and so common for them to be playing like a single 3-drop here that it's fine. And I was going to say a lot of times it's things like Thorn of the Rose or LeBlanc or something that actually trades with our units. So this is a fantastic place to not have to open. So if he like spends his Guile, trades his Thorn into another unit, and then we still get in for 4 damage, that's much better than just starting off and getting the 4 damage in. Okay, now we just have to see what they do. I'm not opposed to playing a burn spell onto something. Or if they play, I don't know, random 4/4/4, I'm pretty okay with also just adding units to the board here. But he's played a unit that we can kill. Let's go ahead and try and take it down. And given his like sequencing of nothing on 1, nothing on 2, and then the 3 drop on 3, 4 drop on 4, I think we're pretty safe to play both Teemo and the Scavenger this turn. If things continue on as they have, he's just going to have like a 4-drop or a 5-drop here. Like the worst thing that would happen is that he has, say, a 4-drop and a Whirling Death, but we can still we'd still be in the same spot as far as damage is concerned. Okay. Haven't even deployed a Puffcap yet. This Teemo is not scary. He'll be flipped on his next attack end, but not a big deal. We'll see what they do. The idea here is just to go for the elusives. I would prefer to just, at least as far as our mana goes this turn, play Iterative Improvement on the Scavenger, replay the Scavenger, and then just open. And then on our next turn, we're just playing Puffcaps on this open with Teemo. We'll see, though. If he comes in and like hooks down our Teemo, I'm not opposed to just playing another one. But yeah, this is fine. That lethal elusive just hanging out here. Rear guard. Rear guard can't block. Uh-oh. That sucks. I didn't... Oh, he played the fleeting copy. Gotcha. Okay, so my big worry with this kind of turn was that he can just whirling... Like, if he gets a block in with a Vi, he can whirling death down our scavenger. But I don't think that's going to be relevant here. We're good to just add Teemo in this space, right? Because he had the Mystic Shot plays to take down our elusive. Now we've got kind of re-elusives down here with the Mimics. Just need to get in for 1 damage. But this should be much more challenging for him to deal with. Don't have to worry about whirling deaths if we don't hit with our ground units. Good job, Teemo. Alright, so what do we got here? We're good to trade out the Spring Guardian for the Chump, just more on theme. Not a bad unit, but he doesn't play fantastically here. Otherwise, I'm still happy to get rid of these Scamps, but Eminent Benefactor is not a card we're really looking for. Ooh. Feeling good, feeling good. Still need some of those Puffcap Peddlers, but otherwise this is okay. This is like one of these things where I really worry about running into like the Poppy decks. Like Bandle Commando is going to be an absolute issue for us, being able to just like value block Teemos, take down our other elusives, and then just generate those 1-cost blockers to shut down our initial aggression. Just like Bandle Commando is a huge problem, but we got good matchups everywhere else. Okay, let's go ahead and make the trade. Like the plays like this are what worries me about the deck like this without having the Puffcaps is and so against pretty much like every Vandal City deck, you can't be playing to make trades, right? This used to be kind of like an advantage where we trade our unit for their unit, but we get some Puffcaps in. But with them like generating the prank, it feels like we're the ones that are falling behind in the situations like that. It's like they're gonna play the Otterpuss, and they're gonna play like a Conchologist, and then this turn wouldn't be surprised to see them add a dude that generates a darkness. Like you can't go toe to toe with them on the value generation here. Now that we have hands like this where our aggression is stopped, like this is a hand that's very good with Puffcap Peddlers, but in this situation here where we need to get our opponent down to like 10, doesn't look nearly as good. Okay, can you block? You're just vulnerable. Are we willing to risk that into the Acolyte? I think it's okay. It just feels much worse if we spend our turn just like playing gotcha on this thing. Vagar. Okay. Interesting. Let's see if they spew off this darkness now that it can pop a unit, and we might get a flipped Teemo hit in. Okay, let's make sure we're playing the generated ones. Chump wump, chump wump, chump wump, and chump wump. So this is our chance to get ahead against these decks. I do still worry about things like the big Ixtali thing coming down, but this is pretty big here. Alright, it's tough for us to beat a bunch of lifesteal. But I mean, we might be able to star chart into like a stun or star chart into a Equinox to stop that kind of thing from hurting us. And rip Teemo. Here, here comes the darkness for certain. Okay. I don't feel like we're really in a hurry here to get this stuff off the board. Let's take the Crescent Strike. Yeah, my only worry here now is we just don't have any way to get damage in. Like, this Teemo's definitely getting aced. Need those elusive dudes to show up. Alright, we might be able to get the damage in this turn. We have the options with the Patrol Wardens. We can play Gifts from Beyond to pass out some Overwhelms. And I think that's going to be the extent of it. Let's start with the Trail and see what shows up. Trouble Bubble. That's a way to take down Vhagar. He's not that scary anymore at this point, but it's okay. At least get this. He's about to start going face with darknesses, so we can at least take this down. I thought he was going to play like a spell. Not the case. So I was going to say, let's go ahead and get these trades so that he doesn't get the additional mana. And then we can try and take care of this this Vhagar after the fact. He's still not playing spells, so he's not going to take advantage of this Prodigy. I think we have like reasonable enough time here. Okay. But I do want to like slam down this Augmented Experimenter, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw these Mushroom Clouds down. We'll be playing the Experimenter next turn. Well, we're just banked. I guess we're... yeah, we probably need to get the damage pushing through.
Spirits are restless, I can tell.
Okay. He has an open for 6 to take us to 11. But if he opens, we can try and just gotcha the Prodigy, and that really slows him down again.
Seems they like you.
Sure. They can smell the specter on me.
Alright, well that one is awkward. So let's do this. Let's stop their aggression.
Stay sharp.
We can add Zoe. She's just going to get blasted by a darkness, which I'm kind of okay with. And we can gotcha Senna. Then hit Senna with the Experimenter next turn. Still think it's too far out on the damage, but this is where you like really needed a Puffcap Peddler. Sure.
Turn it against them.
Did just blast him for 5. Okay, and then the Mimic has shown up. Maybe we'll get to do something with the elusive aspect of this. Okay, actual worst card in the game. Seeing that, love seeing that thing show up. Right, he kind of It got us good there, but so easy for that to be a mushroom cloud. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well. We have to just count on these Puffcaps to win the game at this point.
Make the hurt your weapon.
Come on, you gotta do more than that. I think might just be dead here.
You won't believe what Pilties throw away.
4, 5, 6, 10 takes us to 1. Then we die to the Senna. Yeah, we're dead. Unless he tries to get super clever here.
Keep your distance.
Beautiful, beautiful.
This is my home.
Takes us to 7. Alright, if he hit with everything, he could have taken us to 1, and then if we played a unit, just kill it with darkness. So this should give us the opportunity to just make them draw more cards. This is what it's going to come down to, isn't it? Alright, boys. Alright. Let's see if they gave us the shot here. Oh, there it is. Nice. Nice. Oof. Looks good. Looks good. Alrighty, where's our other Teemo? Pretty good one here as well, with a beam for the anything removal and then a Hex Core Foundry for the card draw. So, yeah, first and foremost, like the big thing that we'll be looking for here that we'd probably trade just about anything for are the Puffcap Peddlers. We really need to pick up 2 more. We can deal with not having anything else. Just that games like that we just don't deserve to win. You typically have to, you'll get some hits in early. They'll answer your Teemo, and then you have to just like build up this hand of peddlers and spells, and you just spew it all off at once and hope you can survive 3 or 4 turns. That we just don't have that late game ability in a deck with only 1 copy of peddler. Okay, well, not a huge fan of hanging on to Death Ray. I just don't really like this card, but there should be enough targets coming out of a Bandle City deck that we can hit with just the 1, 2, 3 chain, where we hit like a Yordle Squire on 1, we hit a Yordle Quick Attacker with the 2, and then hit Poppy with the 3. We can just Teemo next turn. Let's get this going. Get this thing out of here. I want to redraw the 2 damage one as quick as we can. No group shot, please. F. Oh, okay. I just saw the spell circle come down and I was like, oh, our Teemo's done for. Oh, it did have it anyways. Alright. That's painful.
This mama is the beast mama.
Okay, so the Death Ray goes into the top 3. So if we draw a card here, it has to be Death Ray. That gives us an answer to the Bandle Commando. Good, good. They didn't. They must have picked. Oh, it's not guaranteed that they picked up the plus attack with the Yordle Squire, but that was going to be. Oh my gosh. Have everything. That's brutal. It's just impossible to play a go wide ground game against a Bandle Commando. So we'll get in the 1 attack we can, and then it's just like we can't attack for the rest of the game. Literally got every attack shut down for the rest of the game by this Commando. Such a frustrating mechanic. Alright, well we have to, I think we just have to keep our death rays now to stop a Poppy. Nothing we could do about Poppy. Like, we can kind of like manage with these units on board. Can't manage against a Poppy. Okay, that's suspect, but sure. Well, we might be able to do something here. Like, the Chump Wump at least has like a fairly positive attack, depending on what they play. Then, sure. If we're just able to try and buy time to get like a big invoke, if we can like invoke into an elusive or something, might be able to get something going here. So this attack's still good. Okay. Written in the stars into Teemo just doesn't seem that interesting. Let's pick up the Immortal Fire, and then I think this mana works out to where we can play the Mimic, we can Death Ray the Bandle Commando, and then try and attack with both the Mimic and the Immortal Fire next turn. So for that to work, we need to bank this 2 mana. So let's just go ahead and add the Mimic, I guess, in case we want to Death Ray this turn. Like if we want to Death Ray the Commando, we'll at least get the +1 attack on to the Mimic. Okay. Oh boy. Alright, that's at least not lethal. Meditate. Oh, is that the +4/+4 version? 13. Okay, it's not lethal. All to 2. Okay. Oh. We can never win the game without this Mimic, so it's not blocking. This is rough. We'll have to. They're going to go wider on units, and we're probably not going to be able to do anything here, but I think this is it. Sure. Get a Fizz block, that would be good. Okay. See if they give us the chance to play some cards. They do. Appreciate it. So if we hit a crescent strike on this super cool star chart, it gives us a chance to immediately get right back in this. And we missed. Alright. Let's take the Moon Silver. So we have to pivot out of this now. So let's make you cost 1 less. We can shoot this thing. Still don't think we're going to recover out of this, but at least gives us some options. I'd assume he's just going to hook. We can't play cards, so they just know, right? I think his plan here is just to hook our Mimic with something and then kill us with Fizz. Okay. Such a frustrating set of cards. Alright, anyways, moving forward. Let's see what we can do here. Here's a Puffcap Peddler for us. Gotta pick it up. Sucks losing out on that improvement. I'd much rather trade out the Gifts from Beyond to pick up the Peddler, but kinda is what it is. Yeah, I'm not sure how they look at this. Like Riot has historically had this thing as to where starting from probably the Targon set forward, just so many cards that just generate another card, and I don't know. I don't want to call it like an excuse to not make mechanics, but it seems like that's just been their design goal from that point forward. Is like, all right, well, everything's just going to generate something, and that's going to be our thing. Like I don't know of another way to put it, but that's what a lot of it seems like. Anyways, with this, the Shadows and Dust deck tends to be a lot more aggressive than we are, and so I'm not really excited about keeping a big value hand like this, but I think this might be okay. Picking up a Teemo at the start's nice. There is a good chance that they have a blocker for him. There's a lot of Navori Blade Scouts out of these decks, but if we're able to get the Teemo going, potentially gives us a chance to be more aggressive than them. Emoting from the start. Alright, Cupcake. Right, alright. I'm just going to prevent as much damage as we can. Almost certainly block here. And say if he wants to trade like a Mark of the Isles for our unit, that's completely okay. Let's just open. None of our attacks are going to be any good beyond this. Well, do we want to play the Patrol Wardens? We should probably just get our damage in. The question that comes here is like, what do we do about Zed? Like if he had Zed, he would have just played him. Yeah, this looks good. And we drew our answer to Zed, so go us. I think this Aftershock is probably just going to go face. I want to get a flipped Teemo hit in next turn. So let's go ahead and add the Chump. This also lets our Teemo survive stuff like a Vile Feast or an Unspeakable Horror, since we can burst out a Mushroom Cloud now. This is good. This is a pretty big open as well now, since all of our units kill his units. The Black Spear? Okay. Reasonable enough. I think we still want to open, though. This is like pretty horrible if they just drop like a Tortured Prodigy onto us or something. These attacks are all good. Drawing the Peddler was pretty sweet. We can just start spewing the Puffcaps out. If may not want to do it this turn. We'll see how they spend their mana. I don't want to lose the Peddler to a Black Spear. Because we're about to have to start just blocking all this stuff. Okay, that's very good. Not putting a unit on board. He passes to us. Let's play it a little slow. Start with the Ignition. Probably just wait on this Peddler until next turn. This feels like he's just like waiting to Black Spear our best unit. Okay. And Teemo. This looks good. I think he has to be like all in with Hecarim or something this turn. Nope, no Hecarim.
Have a mushroom. Have 3.
Okay, we just need to not die here. Then we should be good for next turn.
I've always been a fun guy.
Ooh, okay. Had to stop it to sneeze. I think we're good now. He put his units to the middle and pulled them back. And so I'm curious what else he actually has here. Haunted Relic, okay. We can block all those. He's definitely just all in here. Let's add the Stinky Wump just to get another blocker on board. And then we'll try to do Teemo next turn. Oh, he lost his. I thought all this stuff was going to come down with +1/+1. Okay, so we'll put the little damage on our highest value units and then prevent as much as we can. And this has to be fantastic for us. If he has like a Withering Whale or something, then that's kind of annoying, but this looks pretty good. Takes us to 6. Sure. Alright, so the new question is, do we just open here? Get in for 8? Not into Scuttlegeist. Okay. So let's play something before Teemo here. How many Puffcaps? Oh, he's just flipped. Okay. So let's add the Urchin. It's a good set of cards.
Long road behind, long road ahead.
That is pretty unfortunate. Senna. Alright, well, let's see if we can't get him to burn a spell before we make our attack. He's wanting to darkness off something. If he doesn't darkness, I think we just have to attack here, but he's going to take down our ballistic bot. Makes sense. Okay. I don't think any of these attacks are... Well, if we attack with everything, he's just going to take 2, loses his Senna and his Prankster. Yeah, we have to attack here. Okay. And we'll see. I'm intending on just playing Hexcore Foundry as opposed to playing like Mushroom Cloud Ignition, but got to see where the damage is at. Gets to 4 and 22 Puffcaps. We still have a blocker for his Scuttlegeist. Okay. We'll go for the Foundry. Zero. Oh, we goose-egged on the Puffcaps. Oh, that's brutal. Gonna just play like Hecarim now. So we gotta hit the Crescent Strike with our Star Chart. Of course we miss. And so, would we rather Time Trick? Can we do anything with Time Trick as far as ending the game goes? Get a stun from Gifts from Beyond. Or 2 coup de grace? That seems good. just take the removal spell at this point. We can Death Ray like Senna, we can block Scuttlegeist, then we can still add a unit. Okay. Okay, so we have enough here. We can't take down Hecarim. So we're just going to be a little bit short, it seems. Well, we can do... Yeah, I mean, if we do this, we fall down exactly. We can't get the 7 damage onto Hecarim. Yeah, emoting early. Damn. We are right on this. Like, I guess this is the biggest prevention. Frustrating. So many draws at it. Just completely whiff on everything. Well, kind of is what it is. But yeah, that match is kind of whatever. I feel like against that deck and against that player, we probably win that like 80% of the time. It just kind of fell into the bad side there. But that Bandle City deck is, again, like I've talked about it extensively in our previous Shyvana video, and it comes up again as to where, you know, like this typically lands on being a pretty aggressive deck, right? If we're planning on having these curves of the Stinky Wump and Teemo into, you know, random 2-drops like the Clump or Academy Prodigies, just these really, really aggressive starts. And then you tend to just like stop your aggression and switch into killing with Puffcap Peddlers. That's like historically the way these decks have gone. And this is kind of like the classic, you know, let's trade cards for damage kind of decks. Because you're never going to like run out of cards with this, in the sense of if the game goes as to plan, you're probably just like just trying to send burn to face and don't care about drawing cards. But there's just like so much card generation these days, in terms of those like Bandle City decks. You would think a deck like this should be good, since, you know, the bonus of adding all of those cards to your hand is being able to spend all of your mana. But if we're just making them draw a bunch of cards anyways, then they don't get to take advantage of that. It's just the Bandle Commando is such a hard shutdown against this deck. It's just extremely tough to deal with. And so, I don't know, we have our Teemo sitting down in tier 3 now. He used to be what we'd call kind of like a tier 2 champion, just because you kind of had like the time to deal with stuff, and Vokes were a lot more prevalent, and so you had like lots of things that you were capable of just taking down. But given this current format, to where there's just like so many Bandle Commandos running around, like a single Bandle Commando just completely shuts down like a half of your deck. And then we didn't run against all of the various Sennas, but a single Ixtali Sentinel will also just shut this deck down, being able to generate a darkness, pick off a Teemo, and then gain like 12 health. Just not something you're ever capable of stopping. Like, we used to run into like lots of problems with Radiant Guardians, and you would just have to kind of like stop combat and then try to set up these turns to where you're blocking their Radiant Guardian with a unit, and then you're Mystic Shotting off your own unit. Like, you'd have to get into weird plays like that, but it's just so much to have to deal with now with the prevalence of the Bandle City appearance bonus on, you know, essentially all the champions in the format. 2 of those champions having direct access to the Sentinels, and the Sennas and all of the Vagars, since they all just play Bandle City Shadow Isles, and then the relevance of Bandle Commando and all of the other like Tristana and the Tristana decks and the Poppy decks just makes this a really, really poor deck choice in the current format. And so, you know, it is what it is. You know, no deck is going to be on top of the meta forever, but given the way that Shyvana has had her appearance bonus on full, and Malefic Descent and the action card pool has been on bonus for like 4 patches now, I didn't see any notice of the appearance bonus falling off on the new patch for the new card pools, and so I suspect that this is just like another month of them being on full blast, and probably just a horrific time to be drafting Teemo. I think we should have lost this a bit earlier against that initial darkness deck, but we got around some poor plays there, and just does not feel like a good deck in this meta. But I think we're still on point with the way that you want to be drafting this. You want everything to be super cheap. Again, you don't want any cards that cost more than 3 mana unless it is a chump lump or an epic that can win you the game. And so things like Mechanized Mimic were fine because it can attack at the end game. Scump-Sight Scavenger is fine because it can attack in the end game. You just don't want cards like Plaza Guardian. You don't want things like Chief Mechanist Zevi. Definitely don't want things like Moondreamer. Just these expensive cards aren't what we're looking for. We really want to follow through with this game plan of a lot of early game aggression. We want to get our opponent down to about 10, and then we switch over to the Puffcap Peddler plan to where we just try to not die and load up their deck with a ton of Puffcaps, and then just let the Puffcaps do their thing. And so yeah, that's it. That's our standard Teemo. It's not that much different from the past. I still want to try getting Teemo paired in with Bandle City so we can try and play with the Puffcap Puff or whatever the new quick attacking thing is that puts Puffcaps into our opponent's deck. But given that I've seen 0 up to this point, I think that card doesn't exist in Expedition, and so I think it's currently in a state to where you have to manifest it. It may be listed in the what's her name, in the Caitlyn card pool. I can't quite remember if it shows up in the Caitlyn one or not, but I'm pretty confident up to this point, 3 weeks into the set, we haven't seen one of those yet, and so I'm not sure how easy it is to get those with Teemo. And so maybe we'll get to try them one day. It would be a fantastic fit in a Teemo deck, but it seems fairly tough to come across. But yeah, I think that is going to do it for us today. Looks like there might be a reward or two to click on, so we'll check those out, and we'll get out there and start watching those footballs. All the P and Z cards. And an epic. Karina. Oh, switched into a champion. Go us. Caitlyn, welcome to the squad. There we go. That is going to do it. So, hope you all learned how to plant your Puffcaps a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.